In this video, we're gonna focus on the home page here inside WordPress. So we are already logged in the CMS. We created a really simple article in the previous video, and we started to explain what CMS is, content management system. And we can start for free using WordPress.com. So right now we can see we are on WordPress.com. Remember, you have two options. You can, when you search for WordPress, if you want to build a website directly online, you can use WordPress.com. If you want to download and use it locally, you can use WordPress.org. So in this case, we are inside the dashboard of the online WordPress.com site builder. And this is where we can find all the initial information to start creating our website. This is also called the backend, which is kind of a backstage where everything happens behind the curtains. And if we want, we can check the aspect of our website by clicking here on this visit site button. So I'm just going to explain to you other things about the dashboard here and the home page in just a few minutes. Now, what I want to show you here, again, so if you want to start by building online, we go to WordPress.com. If we want to download and use it we want to install it locally, we can use WordPress. Now, in my opinion, I think it's better to use the online one because it's going to be updated and everything will be kind of automatic. And it will also be a good place to start if you don't know really much about WordPress and everything. Now, before we continue on WordPress, I want to show you here that on the website, you also have other products and services. And so before talking about the actual features of the site builder, I want to show you a little bit of this. So you can see that we talked about hosting, and well, WordPress.com also does that. So it does hosting, and you can also compare the offer of WordPress with other types of hosting services. So basically, hosting will give you a web space and a domain. There are also additional features like commerce. If you want to do e-commerce, well, you have other plugins, add-ons, and also other additional features that you can insert. Now, a domain, remember, it's the name of your website. So here you can also, with this page, you can see everything. It's can be found here in the menu. So you have the hosting, domain names, website builder, which is this one here we're going to use. And then you have create a blog, newsletter, professional email, website design services, store, course maker. And I'm going to show you this real quick so that if you want, you can investigate more. So this is where you can actually buy a domain, and you can start to be like more professional, as it's explained right here. So if you don't buy a domain, your domain is gonna have this extension here, which is well, your domain name and then WordPress.com. So it's kind of like sponsoring WordPress. So first thing you could choose is also get a domain and get a web space with the more professional features. This is the page dedicated to the builder, to the website builder, which is nothing but the dashboard here. And this is again the backend where you define your the structure of your website and also the content where you're gonna insert the content like articles and pages and texts and well, videos, images, and so on. Then you can of course create a blog. So you can start from here. You can start a blog from here. And if you see here also there is some explanation about how you can build inside WordPress. You can start by using a theme, for example, or you can start by creating your first article like we did in the previous video. So you have many options, but you're gonna do more or less the same thing. And then here again, this is another feature, newsletter. So you can create a newsletter. You can use the professional account to have a professional email, which is going to have your domain name and your extension right here without WordPress.com, of course. So you can look again more professional in terms of website. Now there is also a website design service, which means that you're not going to do anything, but you will pay essentially WordPress to create your website for you. So you can see there are also here various offers. And you can start with e-commerce. You can see if I click here, it's going to ask me to start a new wizard. But again, this is if you want to do e-commerce. And again, you need hosting plans and so on. So we're going to do something more simple. I'm going to do like a personal website. And also this other feature here, it's called create a course, which means that you can create a platform when you can like publish your courses or sell your courses, work with your students, and so on. So these are kind of different variations on WordPress theme. Now, before we continue, real quick, let's see some other terminology, other terms that could be helpful to understand what you're doing and where you are right now. So you talk about front end and back end. So the back end is essentially your dashboard, which is right here. So this is where you can manage, where you can change, you can edit the settings. And by the way, this is in Italian right now. So yeah, this is the English version. So you can also change language, by the way, if you go in the preferences in the settings here or in your account, you can change here. Just go in the let me see here in the account settings, and you have other settings, or you can set up your first name, last name, generic things. And so this is another area. It's not the home page. It's still in the dashboard, but it's another area. So if you click here, you can go back to your sites, my sites. Okay, before continuing, let me just explain to you some few other things here. So essentially the front end is what you see on a web browser. We didn't talk about the web browser. What is a web browser like Google or Opera or Safari? Well, they are basically translator. They translate HTML language and they show you the web page that will be the result of what it has been done in terms of programming language and HTML on the backend. So the backend is like where developers work and where also designers work. And then the front end is the final result. So what we see, what we perceive. And so this is really important to understand how website works in general. Now, another important thing is to define your website structure. Now, we said that when you work on the back end, you essentially work on the structure and on the content. Now, what is the structure of a website? Well, essentially is a series of pages and a series of sub pages or articles. So you can see that at first we always have the home page. So we always start by entering a website from the home page, just like the WordPress website. So you start with the home, and then you have like a series of pages here, which are like main pages, and then you have like smaller areas or sub categories here, sub pages or articles. So it's kind of a hierarchical structure that goes from the top here, like a pyramid, goes from the top, and then you have the main pages, and then you have the other pages and the articles on the last level. So it's distributed into like more levels. So you need to define, you can also sketch these on your own on a piece of paper. You need to define the structure of your website. I think it's useful before even you start to create your pages and everything else in WordPress. So try to understand how many pages you want to put, what will be their names, and what will be the content inside those pages. So another important part is the content. And again, we are working with a content management system, so everything is based on these really essential things. Now, the content is, for example, a content of your article, which could be text or could be image, could be video. And there are other people that can work on your website just by creating content. So they type and they edit the article, just like creating a post in Facebook. Is no more difficult than that. So you can be everyone in your website development, or you can be just like the designer that only thinks about the look and feel of the project, or you can be just the developer that fix bugs or create code or adjust things, or you can be just a writer, an editor, an author that will use that website to publish things. You can also, give the people the possibility to subscribe and join, become a user, comment, and create their own articles and so on. So it's really important to understand all of this, and especially the structure is really important, again, to have a good flow when you're navigating inside a website. Now, how do you navigate inside a website? You navigate through links. So when you, for example, here click on this is called an hyperlink, because if I click on this, it's going to bring me in another page inside the website. And these are internal links. So if I click here, this is going to bring me to another page inside the same website. So these are called internal links. But sometimes they're going to bring you to another website. So for example, like in Wikipedia, when you click on a link, usually it's going to bring you to another, let me see here, English. And so if you click here, for example, it's going to bring you to another um, article, and inside that article you can find another link to another article and so on. Well, it stays inside Wikipedia, so we can also call these internal links, but sometimes in website you also have external links, so links that will bring you elsewhere to another website. Now this is the basic of the hypertext, and we already said that this is well, the HTML is essentially the hypertext markup language. So it's basically a language that uses hypertext, which is the possibility to go to another text using a link. So move between text. And this was the big invention when they invented the web. When Tim Berners-Lee invented the web, it's just everything was based on this link, which were very powerful, and people could share information and they could link other website and other pages for other information. So really important to understand this, that everything is structured, everything is linked internally, externally, but especially with the structure, we talk about internal links. And then we have the mockup. Now, what is a mockup? Is how it's kind of a rough idea of how your website should look like. So this could be done by a graphic designer that uses like Photoshop or GIMP or Illustrator or whatever other graphic design application out there to define the website. So it's not creating the website, it's just understanding what the look and feel will be. So usually this is done by a website designer or web designer or a graphic designer. So we can distinguish two main figures, which is, well, one is web designer that is more focused on the front end, so on how the website will look. And then we have the web developer that, again, is more like a programmer, someone who can write the code, you can read the code, can adjust the code, and etc., etc. So I think that for a good website that, well, also for a complex website, you would need these two figures, a designer and a developer. And then you probably want to have like authors or editors that write contents and copywriters that write content for you. And then you can have like photographers that could take picture, video makers, and so on, depending on how big your website will be. Now I'm going to close all these pages here. We have a look to these additional services that you have on the WordPress.com website, and we can start talk about a little bit about the dashboard right here. Now let's see how it is organized. So in the top left here, well, we're not going to talk about this top part, which is part of the browser. This one here will let you change websites. So if you have more websites, you can see here, you can click on switch sites, and you can go from a site to another. So, well, I created like 3 because I'm testing this website builder we are using. And we also started on the previous video to create a new website. So essentially, this is where we can switch from a side to the other. And also you can switch here from websites to reader. Now reader, you can see it changes a little bit the interface, and this is to, if you want to read and add favorite sites, you want to stay updated with the latest posts, you can like create feeds, you can link them right here, and you can also write your article from here. So if I click here, you can see I can access this post and I can edit this. So on the top there you have the edit, and we already done this in the last video, but I can change this in English. So I'm gonna say first article, and that's the content here, the textual content, and then later we will do something else. So I'm gonna close this. I want to go back to the dashboard. So just gonna click here on my sites. This will bring me back right here. So remember that anytime you get lost, you can click here on my sites, because there are different areas in the dashboard. So you could get lost, but remember this is the home page. You can see that is your home page from here. So this is your home page. And down here, you also have other pages and other features, which we will talk later on. So you have, again, pages when you will create your pages, and then posts, and then media, comments. This is where you can define your user. So for example, the designer, the administrator, the developer, the editor, and so on. And then you have settings and appearance. Of course, this is the front end where you can decide the theme, you can customize the theme. This is, for example, when you can create your e-commerce. So you're going to use WooCommerce for this. So you can start here a new store, and then you have other stuff that we're going to see later. Again, if I click on my home, I'm going to go back to my home page in the dashboard right here. Now let's go on the right side. So again, this is to create a new article. So if you click on write, you're going to start a new article. So it's another way that you can create another article. And usually you have these placeholders at the beginning. So all you need to do, which are basically editable blocks. So all you need to do is click here and just customize this inside, or you can delete the blocks, or you can add another block, but we will see again this later on. This is just another introductory video. Then you have your profile, you have the help, and then you have comments or messages, and you can see here you have likes, you can see the unread, and so on. Now let's go back on the left side here. Another thing you could do is collapse the menu. So if you collapse the menu, you can have more space. So you can leave it open or collapse, perhaps when you are more expert. And then that's it. So this is like the main parts of the interface. Now everything inside here, well, this is the content of this area. So if you are on my home, this is the content of my home. So even WordPress itself is structured using the same languages that you're gonna use for your website, but it's just more complex because this is a management system. It's not just a simple website. So it's a website where you can create other website essentially. And if I change here, I go to stats, I can see some statistics, but right now you can see there's not much here because I didn't have any visitors, any views, any likes. But here is where you can monitor what's going on in terms of users and public and so on. So the content changes. And let's go back here. So we're gonna focus on the content of the my home page right now. So again, this is the backend, but anytime I can click here on visit site and I can see my front end. So how it's gonna look like as a real website if I am on a browser. Now this top part will not be visible by other users. So this is just for you if you wanna change the theme, if you wanna go back to the home. Again, if you want to write an article, if you want to edit the site down here, and so on. So if I click home, I can go back again to the home page. But now I have two, so I'm going to close another one. And so this is really important button to have a preview of what's happening. And let's go down. So this is showing you what will your next steps will be, which will be select a design to give a look and feel, a style to your website. Choose a plan if you want to go professional and have a better domain name and other stuff, hosting and so on, web space. You can write your first post. So this is again another way to access the post editor. There you go. So we're back again there. And I either go back with the arrow here, or I can click on the W and click on the dashboard. So it's going to bring me back. And then I can also launch my site so it becomes public and anyone can see it. Now, this has already, you can see a URL address. So this is the URL address that you can use to reach this page right here that you created. So it's already online, but you can then publish. Again, you can buy a domain, own a domain, which will be unique, and also the URL will be unique. And well, you have some learning also here, learning features. Now on the right side, we can again edit the website. We can again write a post. So you can see this is like the most popular feature here in the dashboard. You can find this many places. Then you can manage the comments, add a page, add a domain again, manage your domains, go to the admin dashboard, see the plugins. You can also create a logo and also use this mobile app, which is called Jetpack. So this is what we find here in the home page. Now, on the next videos, we will start by creating the structure using the pages, the posts. We will work on our aspect of the website, on the look and feel. So we're going to see everything that we introduced in this video essentially, but more in practical terms. So this will be all for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe to the channel to stay updated for other videos about this course, or also about other video courses that you can already find in the channel, by the way. If you want to thank us, if you want to support us, join the channel as a supporter. So thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson.